All right, we're still talking Browns. We're bringing in our third amigo, Andre Knott. Thanks for stopping by.
No problem. I have my high heels today, so I can look up to you guys. How are you?
Very nice. I don't want to talk about that, but we'll talk about that on another show. All right, let's talk about yesterday's scrimmage. Your thoughts on the way things went.
I thought the one thing that we found out is I think offensively they're going to be really good when they're in the red zone. I think Evan Moore proved that with the offense, the way they threw the ball to him in the end zone. Still a little worried about Colt McCoy. I think this offense is probably coming to him a little slower than he thought. But I think overall you got to be happy going into this week because they relatively are healthy. And now you can go in this week, get ready for the Packers.
Phil Taylor. He got his reps in this week. How do you think he did?
He's huge, Mike. I mean, that's the first thing. But, I mean, he's huge, but he looks like he's in somewhat kind of shape. And he does change how this defense looks. I know in watching the scrimmage yesterday, or the parts where they did scrimmage, the linebackers don't get touched. Because this guy gets up into the guard, he gets into the center. He's going to change the dynamic of this defense. He's going to help guys like Chris Gokong and DeQuell Jackson be able to kind of run sideline to sideline and not worry about getting hit by a guard or a tackle.
I know we both talked to DeQuell this week about that specific. I mean, DeQuell's like a kid in a candy store. He seems very happy. But I think the bigger thing is that, and I've harped on this a little bit, Phil Taylor is able to come into camp as a rookie. Yes, he was a holdout, but he's in it. He's in the first team mix, and there's none of this, I'm not going to say your name. And, it's just, it's such a different atmosphere.
I think that goes throughout the whole team. I think that childish kind of like that freshman kind of, we're going to beat this guy up. I think the team looks at him, they need players. And they look at him and he's a player, point blank. The other thing, we don't talk about Ataba Rubin now. Ataba Rubin is going to be great now because he's lost weight. He's working on being more of a pass rusher and passing downs. And let's be honest, with Phil Taylor next to you, I think I'm going to double Phil Taylor, where Rubin's going to be really good against single blocks.
Now we get to, we really get to find out where the Browns are this week. They're playing the Packers, absolutely healthy team. We'll find out where that West Coast offense is and where that defense is at the same time.
Mike, I think it's going to be good at times to see how you look against a team like that. And other times it may not be because this is a real West Coast team. As I said to you guys off the air plenty of times, when the Green Bay Packers went to camp last week, 2 weeks ago, they knew their favorite 5 plays. The Browns are just learning their plays. They don't have any idea. So it's going to be a huge matchup to just see where you're at. You might only get a series against Aaron Rodgers. But let's get that number 1 defense out there just to get a feel of what they need to work on.
I thought it was interesting at the end of the practice yesterday that Pat Shurmur has this perspective. People were saying, well, in the 2-minute offense, the offense didn't look very good. They were struggling. There was issues there. He just said, well, I thought the defense played pretty well.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. He's been really good with that, and I like that. Like, no matter, and most defensive coaches, if you did that with Mangini, he would be like, well, my defense did this. We didn't even talk about the offense. Romeo kind of had that same thing. That's the one thing about Shurmur you have not found with him so far. He said that about a pick 6 earlier in the week. He goes, yeah, it was a pick 6, but hey, that's great for our defense. I think he knows that he's got to kind of massage both sides of this team right now. He's an offensive guy. He's the offensive coordinator, but he realizes I need this defense as well.
I want to keep talking about Colt McCoy because we'll go back to that for a second. Obviously, that Camp Colt was huge. Yeah. A lot of for the veterans that were able to say, I can't believe the second-year guy was able to get all the hotels and just kind of set everything up. And we also found out that the playbook was there. All those things came out this week. But he didn't have a lot of zip on the ball yesterday.
Doesn't have a lot of zip on the ball, and that could be from just not knowing the offense. Kind of like your brain thinking do it, but your legs aren't all the way there. I mean, we see young quarterbacks like that all the time. I think he knows the plays, but it's a little different when you get guys coming in your face, and suddenly, he's thinking rather than playing, so I'll give him that. But let's be honest, guys. At the end of the day, it's going to come down, can Colt McCoy throw spirals in December, in January in Cleveland Brown Stadium? It's tough for any quarterback. It's even tougher for guys that don't have strong arms.
So who's farther ahead right now, Andre? Is it the offense or the defense?
Defense still ahead. I think it always starts like that in football camps because of the intricacies of how you try to make offense work, especially with a West Coast offense where you have all these guys running slants and things like that. And the other thing is, I think Dick Duran, he's the complete opposite of Rob Ryan. Fridays just won't be the same in Berea, but I think he's a little bit more cerebral. It's a little bit more cerebral with the way that he goes about things, and I think that makes it easier for the defense to put things together.
All right, Andre, thanks a lot. We will probably talk to you next Sunday night, and for every Sunday probably from now until January.
Can't wait.